welcome to another episode of Random Rambling, starring your ramblers. It's your boy Themes and your boy Esp.
Yo.
Yo, indeed. And
But
what is the topic of today, sir?
today we are talking about billionaires because billionaires have been in the news recently, specifically space billionaires.
Yeah, the
But
space race of the rich folks.
but we will talk about all kinds of billionaires.
Yep. But I mean, we might as well start with that one, right? Because that's the most obviously relevant one.
Oh yeah. Well, there's three of them. I'm guessing Richard Branson is a billionaire. Let's look at
as far
Richard
as I know,
Branson net worth.
Like rich.
5 billion.
He's the dude that runs like Virgin Mobile, right?
Yep. Or well, not Virgin Mobile, Virgin Galactic. I don't know. Actually, I wonder if those are owned by the same Virgin Mobile.
Gotta follow the rabbit hole, man.
The first of many.
Yeah, right.
Oh, yeah. Virgin Mobile is owned by Richard Branson as well. Nice.
Yeah, I thought so. Because I've seen, I watch Shark Tank, so he shows up as a guest shark time to time.
Oh, cool. Do you think he's the president of the Virgin Islands?
I was gonna make a joke, but it wouldn't even make sense. Like, I was literally gonna say your mom, but like it wouldn't even make sense in the context because how would she be a virgin and still be your mom? One of those like keep it in the draft.
And I was referencing the meme where Trump is saying, "I spoke with the president of the Virgin Islands," because that's been spun a bunch of different ways.
Oh, I didn't even know there was a. I thought I guess, because they're not a state. Yeah, I don't know. What's the deal with the Virgin Islands?
They are in the Caribbean. That's all I know about them.
So we probably annexed them then. The part of the global conquest.
Yeah, colonialism.
Yeah, pretty based. If I'm not gonna lie.
But yeah,
speaking of colonists, no, whatever. Those are shitty. So I knew about Richard Branson to get back on the space race of billionaires, and then I also knew about Jeff Bezos doing it. I saw a little bit of a video of him. You said three?
Well, Elon Musk is the third. Might as well talk about him too, I guess.
Right. Okay, that's fair then. I thought you meant like he had went in like recently. I was like, I'd only heard the two.
So here's my thoughts. We have a bunch. These are the categories that we definitely need to talk about: space billionaires, tech billionaires, which space is tech, but other than space.
Right. Well, space deserves its own special category. I'd say that's
non-tech entrepreneurs, I guess, because there are some
like a Walmart type of
that kind of stuff. And then there's investors, well, like Warren Buffett.
Yeah.
And then there's people that just inherited money,
which is a lot of the people.
And then there's Dogecoin investors. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, right.
But
there's the funny meme investors.
The funny meme investors. AMC. Okay, so space billionaires. What are your impressions of Richard Branson and Jeff Bezos? I guess you do have some thoughts on Richard Branson because of Shark Tank.
Okay, so from what I've seen of him on that show, I mean, he's doing the professional. I'm sure you've seen the show, right?
Yeah, I haven't seen him on it, but I've seen the show, enough episodes.
Yeah, occasionally they have guest sharks, right?
Yep.
To fill in, probably because one had some other obligation somewhere else.
Yep.
But he's one of the guest hosts, and I like him when he's on there. I mean, the whole thing is like he's trying to, he's playing the businessman role.
Yeah.
So there's not really, it's playing to his strengths. But he seems all right there. I haven't seen much of him outside of that. I did know he ran Virgin because of that.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, I'm not really 100% sure on like. Yeah, because it's hard with these people because they have their hands dipped in so many pots. That's hard to know what like. how much of this company do you own, how much of that, but yeah, I mean, he seems okay-ish. I mean, I'm sure if you look into some of the stuff, you'd probably find some, a little bit of shady stuff here and there.
Yeah, let's check out his controversies section on Wikipedia.
There we go. All right.
Tax evasion,
Yeah, I mean,
promotion of SeaWorld.
If we're talking about billionaires, tax evasion is going to be like every one of them. So,
tax evasion, there are very specific terms. There's tax evasion and there's tax avoidance. So tax avoidance is like if you open a Roth IRA, you're doing tax avoidance because basically anything that you invest within your Roth account, you don't pay taxes on until you take it out, which is at retirement. So that's tax avoidance. And, a lot of rich people do that.
right.
I believe Warren Buffett paid like less than 1% on taxes, but I mean, so there's a reason for that they can do that legally. The reason is instead of actually having an income that they would have to pay like regular tax rate on, they instead borrow using their investments as collateral, and then they just pay interest on that. So they borrow money and then they use that borrowed money in order to like pay for their expenses, and then they can actually I don't actually know the specifics of how they pay that back, but I know from my perspective, because retail investors can do this too. I borrow on margin on M1 Finance, but I invest it right back into my portfolio. But it's basically the same concept. You can technically take whatever you borrow in M1 Finance and apply it to whatever you want. So it's the same concept. It's just a lot.
Just on a much larger scale.
Yeah, on a much larger scale, it actually means something because you can have a lifestyle off of it.
Right.
So we can definitely talk about that, like tax avoidance. That could be one of the things that we talk about. Let me write that down.
Yeah, I mean, because you're definitely going to get that type of thing when you reach the bigger guys. Like, like the, say, holding certain companies are, in, say, different countries, for example, because different laws and taxes.
Yeah.
Being another example of that.
Yeah, generally, personally, I don't have a problem with tax avoidance, but we can hash that out. But on Richard Branson's Wikipedia page, on Richard Branson's Wikipedia page, it's tax evasion. So he actually was briefly jailed for it. It was the illegal kind.
Ooh, that's fun.
Okay, and then his next controversy is promotion of SeaWorld, which he automatically loses points with me because of that, because SeaWorld is inhumane.
Yeah, okay, so let's I know we already, well, I guess we didn't bring over the PETA episode, but the whole SeaWorld thing where they're all like enclosed, I'm sure some of the animals would be relatively fine with that, but like a lot of the animals, that like it doesn't work, like it's not the same environment. It just is, because animals don't just live in water; they have a whole lifestyle.
Yeah,
it'd be like you take, I don't know, like you just put us in a random house, but like don't give us like any of the things we want.
Yeah,
and it's just like it doesn't.
I guess dolphins specifically, or maybe also orca whales.
Yeah, whales and dolphins are like the big ones.
Yeah.
Well, no, size joke not intended, but dolphins are very, with them more so it's because they're really social creatures as well. So like a lot of times they don't have like a bunch of dolphins with them. They have like a couple, and then it's just like there's that. Plus, they're a really enclosed area where it's like that's not what they enjoy. Dolphins, of course, they have that echolocation thing. I mean, which is indicative of being able to tell like how far their idea of like living should be.
Yeah.
Because if you can use echolocation, it goes for I don't know how far does that go? It's for like miles, doesn't it?
Yeah, my gut feeling says miles from what I've heard.
Distance. Let's see what Google says.
I'm gonna guess 15 miles. I think I pulled that out of my memory, but because I could have made it up.
Echolocation is most effective. Oh wait, no. What the? Oh damn it! Like how long can they?
A sperm whale can echolocate prey up to 500 meters away. That was way off.
Okay, maybe. Okay, so maybe not. But I mean, that's still like smaller than like
Yeah.
a stadium size, whatever.
I guess it
But
depends on the wavelength.
just on a different wavelength. I mean, man.
Hmm.
But yeah. So whatever. You and I are both in agreement that SeaWorld is not a great. Those
Yeah.
type of things are not
So that's
great
2 points
for
against
animals.
him. And then the third controversy listed on Wikipedia is an assault claim.
Ooh, that's fun.
Sexual assault. So yeah, this guy is
Ooh.
not a great guy.
Okay. Well, that is not good.
Yeah.
Was that? Does it say like how that panned out?
Um
Like, did he have to
let's
pay any
see.
fines, or was it like a closed settlement? It's usually like settlement behind closed doors with those type of things.
Um let's see.
Oh, he's
There would
saying
never
that she
be
motorboat her. Yeah, remember? So
uh
Singer claimed sexually assaulted her by quote putting his head between her cleavage and making boat engine noises.
yeah, without her consent. So yeah,
Yeah,
that's
right.
not cool. Okay, well, yeah. Well, I didn't know any of that about him before, and that definitely changes my opinion about him.
Right, right.
Uh, but anyway, I guess we might as well talk about what he does. Virgin Galactic is going to be a space tourism company. I don't know if they have any long-term plan beyond that, but yeah, space tourism. I'm not personally. I think that if there's a market for space tourism, then it definitely helps. Like like just kind of overall with research and technology in space travel.
Yeah.
SpaceX is obviously going in the commercial direction, like government contracts, private contracts.
Right, right.
They have their own things with Starlink. Um,
I would say with in terms of money going towards spaceflight type things, I would rather their money go towards stuff like that than other things, like buying up a bunch of land somewhere, or, something like that, right? Like at the very least, there is some sort of collective good that this technology can lead to, right? It's the same type of thing. Like you'll notice to draw upon like old examples, right? A lot of innovation happens during like wartime.
yeah.
It's not so even if say like the motives behind a certain thing might not be as noble.
Yep.
Which when it comes to like people with that much wealth, a lot of times it's not the best type of intentions as far as you can tell.
Yeah.
But it can still lead to good, like overall good for people.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. The space race was accelerated by the Cold War,
right.
but as a
Actually,
result
that's a very
of
good example.
yeah, as a result of all the space research, we have cell phones, we have GPS, we
Right.
have Velcro, we have ballpoint pens
Well, the internet too wasn't that like a military thing
or
initially?
gel pens. I think. The what?
Wasn't the internet initially like a military thing in terms of the communication between like
Yeah, it was
governments?
ARPANET. Yeah, ARPANET. That's what it used to be called. Um, and yeah, now it's the internet. Uh,
Which I mean, the amount of like I don't even know if it's measurable. The amount of good. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of crap things on the internet, but like in terms of like the amount of positive change in the world, like I can't even imagine how you'd even quantify that.
yeah, certainly a
All
net
all
positive.
humanity's, oh for sure, all humanity's information at your fingertips. Like that's just insane. Being able to keep in touch with a bunch of people, like
Yeah, I think the one of the like from a humanitarian standpoint, I think the biggest positive from the internet existing is it helps people be more cosmopolitan. So like people have a perspective where they recognize that there's a diversity of opinion and background, and um, and yeah, that's the end of that thought. Uh,
yeah, I could. That's definitely useful. It would help if social media didn't try to curtail that particular idea by trying
yeah,
to force people into echo chambers, regardless of
yeah, I yeah.
whatever. But
I think that's inevitable. Like if Facebook didn't exist, then there would be a Facebook-like social network that would exist. If Twitter didn't exist, then there would be a Twitter-like.
Right. I don't think. I think that inevitably happens in terms of like advertisement. It's just a shame that it's like artificially pushed. Because you can even make the argument that's true of like humans in general. Like we're going to seek out things that like a lot of content I see on YouTube is either random podcasts or gaming, because those are things I'm into. So like that's a lot of what's pushed to me.
Yeah.
But that's different than like an algorithm being like, like, hey, see this.
Yeah.
But then it's like a lot of stuff's useful too. Like
we could definitely
it's
do an
kind of hard
episode
to.
about that. How would we phrase that?
Big
You know
tech
what? I'm just gonna
censorship.
put
No, I'm just kidding.
I'm gonna put the social dilemma because of the Netflix show. That's enough for me to remember what it's about.
All right. But anyway, space. That's pretty cool.
So Richard Branson, personally not a great guy. I don't have any problem with his Virgin Galactic stuff, though. It seems like it's a net positive for that to exist.
Yeah, as far as I can tell you.
Obviously, like it's nowhere near what SpaceX is doing, but then again, I'm very biased because I love all things SpaceX. But yeah, I guess we should talk about Jeff Bezos.
Yeah, good old Jeff Bezos. I don't like him at all as a person. Everything
Yeah.
I see of him just is like not great. Like the way Amazon factories are ran, and the way like the steps they would go to like stop unionization or like any sort of improvement to their workplaces.
Yeah, they actually have. Well, I saw leaked videos of instructional videos telling people how to stop unionization.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just not great. Or like for those listening, in case, I mean, you definitely look up maybe Jeff Bezos controversies, but there's like, for example, during like hot days of like factory work, instead of investing in AC, like proper AC, it was cheaper to have a hospital. What the hell's the name? Ambulance. I was trying to think of the name of the vehicle. Having ambulances on the ready because it was cheaper just to haul them off.
Yeah.
Which is just like, I don't know, some super villain shit right there.
It's a real shame how he treats his employees, because the fact that Amazon exists is great and it's such a great service.
Yeah, for sure. If we're talking Amazon, like the actual like service side for the customer is pretty great. Like even say the return policies as well are pretty great.
Yeah, just the fact that you
like
can order something and it shows up the next day. That's
right.
That's just great. Like the the technical side of how Amazon works, like the distribution network and delivery network, that's all great. But I think like you can you can just tell like how much profit Amazon takes in. They could definitely put a little bit more of that money towards treating their employees well.
Well, especially because like not only are they not like paying taxes in regards to those things, like they're also getting money from the government to like, or at least they have in the past. I don't know if they currently are, but in terms of like expansion for their stuff.
And it's like, I have a story about that.
Ooh, do tell.
But yeah, I think maybe just playing devil's advocate, and I'm definitely not excusing it, but Amazon has, I think, around 1 million employees. And so it's definitely difficult to scale that many employees. Like if you raise wages for 1 million employees, you're multiplying the wage increase by 1 million, which actually, now that I think about it, like if you raised, well, yeah, I was going to say, if you raise their wages by like $5 an hour, that's 5 million per hour.
Right.
Times,
but I mean,
40.
Well, how much do they make per whatever? But I mean, even then, like it's not necessarily that you have to do such a drastic jump at that exact moment. At least in terms of when I see like say states, for example, obviously states are a different example from businesses. but similar kind of concept in the sense that like when they would raise, say, minimum wage,
Yeah.
They wouldn't do it all at once. Like, hey, like we have a number we're trying to get to, but instead we're going to up it a little bit this year, and then up it a little bit next year, and then over the course of like a 5-6 year period,
That's a good point.
it reaches the number that it's that they're trying to reach, and then that helps in terms of mitigating any like drastic changes in the cost of like commerce and stuff.
Yeah, that's
But
a good
you know,
point.
but even then, like when you're giving these people more money, it's like they have more money to spend too, and especially with the like you might be able to say like, okay, maybe an arts and hobby shop won't see much of that money returned to them because they're really niche.
Mm-hmm.
But like Amazon is like it's global, so like they would definitely see a lot of that money returned back to them directly.
So it looks like their gross profit margins are around 40%. Their operating expenses, or their operating margin is around 7%, and their net margin is 7%. So I believe after like taxes and operating expenses, they're netting like 7% margin, which actually is not that big. Well, I take that back. That's after all operating expenses. That's pretty big. They could.
But not to mention, even if the
I
percentage
probably just
wasn't
made
high,
a
the
fool of
amount of
myself with my analysis of balance sheets, but
well, I'm not very finance savvy, so
this is
at
all
least
off the cuff.
yeah,
Um,
it's all random rambles.
Random rambles, but
This isn't.
but yeah, maybe he shouldn't have scaled so fast. But then, like, Amazon wouldn't have met the demand, especially with the pandemic, of a bunch of people hitting the site for like deliveries. So, I really don't know
Well,
what
might not have been
opinion to
able to meet
form.
the. They might not have been able to meet the demand as much, but like, still would have been able to meet at least the because at that point it's like they're getting more money, which means they can invest in more infrastructure in terms of like online, like keeping it from crashing. They're just getting more stuff.
So I saw a statistic, and you know what they say about statistics on the internet? 79% of them are made up,
Yeah.
including that one.
Actually, I heard 81% of them were made up. So
But
if
anyway,
you could quote the right statistic, please.
I saw a statistic that the attrition rate for warehouse workers is 150% per year.
What is attrition? What does that even mean?
The rate at which people leave the company. So,
oh yeah, the turnover. Yeah, okay,
yeah, the
that's
turnover rate. So the turnover rate is 150%, meaning
yeah. I've
that
heard.
on average people turn over like multiple times per year, like per person.
Yeah, I've heard their idea of like working people is like working to the sense of like as much as you can, and then they leave, and then there's some other person waiting, because like people need jobs, and so someone else fills in the thing.
At that rate, I wonder how long it would take for them to go through the entire job market. I actually have one friend that I know that used to work at an Amazon warehouse.
Yeah, I had online friends through PlayStation that I've known for like 6 years or so, right? And he used to work in Amazon as well.
Yeah.
For I think like a year or two. And
So,
I mean that sounds about right. That's about probably the turnover rate, and work there for like a year or two, maybe a few years, and then just say fuck this.
so the silver lining of the attrition rate is that whenever they're able to replace humans with automation, they're not going to have to fire people because those people will likely just leave.
No.
Now that that sounds awful to say that, but yeah, that is like the real solution here is automation, because it's demeaning for people to have those jobs. So it's better if
Well, it's the
a
meaning.
robot does it because
It's the meaning to have those jobs in that particular type of work environment. I
like
mean, packing something up and like sending it out is fine. I don't see anything particularly wrong
well
with.
no that's the kind of job that I'm thinking about because I think that's the majority of the jobs, like taking a
Right.
product, putting it in a package, putting it on a conveyor belt. Like that's the
Right.
kind
I
of stuff that a
mean,
robot could do well.
oh, for sure. But I don't know if that's necessarily like a demeaning type of job.
Maybe not, but
Of
it's
itself.
repetitive
It might
and they don't let you
not be
take
necessarily.
bathroom like really long bathroom breaks.
Right. Right. I think the conditions of like how the warehouses are run are more so the demeaning part than it is the job itself.
That's true. That's true.
Like I'd say like any like regular company where like say you're packaging stuff,
Yeah, that's true.
Hell, probably even like a, I don't know, UPS or something. Probably wouldn't be nearly as bad.
So Boston Dynamics has been working on a few robots that are well suited for stacking boxes in warehouses.
Yeah.
And a lot of companies are working on self-driving cars. And there are also robots that are well suited for picking up, packages and dropping them. So I feel like the warehouse jobs and the delivery jobs will be
Eventually
automated
get
at some
kicked
point
out.
soon.
Yeah.
And with their attrition rate, like it's just a matter of time before people, quit or I don't know where they're going to go. That's another issue that we're going to have to solve. And we could talk about the wealth tax actually in this podcast, because that's one potential solution. I'm not sure how I feel about wealth tax, but on paper it makes sense.
Yeah, I guess the question is like practicality in terms of like getting people to actually pay like any sort of fair share of the money. That'd be a bitch and a half, to put it lightly. But in terms of like, yeah, I have no qualms with like the idea of doing it.
Yeah,
because I feel like a lot of times they do skirt through with like loophole after loophole. That a lot of times those type of big corporations are the ones that are pushing for it. Lobbying and Congress type shit.
Okay.
Where like they're creating these loopholes in the first place. You know what I mean?
So we've picked apart Amazon as a business and Jeff Bezos' role in that. Let's talk about Blue Origin. Are you familiar with Blue Origin? Or, well, it's been in the news.
I've heard the name, but I can't say I know anything about it.
It's you remember the penis-looking rocket that went up to space recently with Jeff Bezos?
I don't know if I've seen it. I feel like I'd remember something like that if I saw it.
But yeah, so Richard Branson recently went to space, and then Jeff Bezos did as well.
Yeah, I saw a video of I saw a video of like right before of Jeff talking to some news station or something.
So
like Good Morning America or some shit like that. And then I saw a video of afterwards after he came back and he was really like pumped up about being out there.
Yeah.
But I didn't see the rocket at all.
So putting aside my feelings about Jeff Bezos, I do believe in the long-term mission of Blue Origin. Their long-term mission is to they're starting with space tourism, and they have some government contracts that they're trying to get. And their long-term goal is to move polluting manufacturing and any manufacturing that's bad for the environment to the moon and to the asteroid belt. And so they would want to set up industry on the moon and mine asteroids. And the eventual goal is to create O'Neill cylinders in space. And so O'Neill cylinders are these big tube-shaped space habitats that rotate, and so they create artificial gravity. And you can have an atmosphere in there, and you can plant plants and vegetables and trees and have lakes and stuff. So these things are gigantic. They're like 10 kilometers long. So that's like one of the like the holy grails of living in space is building those things. And they're actually really feasible even with today's technology. Like once we figure out how to scale up asteroid mining, those will be pretty feasible.
So something about it spinning creates gravity?
Yeah, centrifugal force. So like how, if you have like a bucket of water,
centrifugal, by the way.
Centrifugal, okay.
Sorry, not to be.
Yeah, I think you're right. But yeah, it's just like if you tie a rope to a bucket of water and then spin that around, the water stays put. So it's the same concept.
Yeah, fair. Everything has a mass anyway, so
yeah. So like I believe in that vision because that is what's supposed to happen. Like that
seems like a pretty noble vision. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't say noble. It's like it makes sense economically to do that, and it's a good place for humans to live in the future, so that we can stop living on Earth. Because I feel like long term we should just let Earth be a sanctuary for the other species and not interfere. So and this is maybe a hot take, but like long term, maybe humans should all leave Earth and live in space so that we don't harm the animals and plants. But that's my hot take. I'm talking like over hundreds or thousands of years.
Canceled.
But okay, so if I don't consider Jeff Bezos in this equation, then yeah, that all sounds great. The problem is Jeff Bezos and his management decisions.
The problem is Lex Luthor.
But yeah, so they did a bid to the government a few years ago, or was it this year? Asking for $10 billion to build spacecraft to get to the moon, which, you might consider that outrageous. You might not. I don't know.
That shit's really expensive, so like it doesn't.
So yeah, and so lately they've been doing this kind of campaign against SpaceX because SpaceX has been making lots of strides. They're working on their Starship prototype right now, and they're planning to get to the moon in a few years and then Mars within the next decade or so. But anyway, like SpaceX is working on Starlink, which is a network of satellites that's going to provide affordable, fast internet to rural areas.
And I almost got the internet, or I was looking into it, but then like some other internet company bought out the old one I had, and they put it in new lines and stuff.
Okay. But yeah, so Blue Origin, Jeff Bezos' space company, sued SpaceX to basically prevent them from continuing their Starlink satellite constellation, just because they wanted to put up their own constellation, which they're working on. And they basically sued them to delay them because they're a few years behind, like maybe even more than a few years. And lately, they've been putting out like these infographics and posters that basically read like propaganda, basically like kind of twisting the truth to make it seem like SpaceX is not the way that the government should go. And they've basically just been pumping out these infographics with misleading charts and stuff. And I think it's part of it's basically going to be a lobbying move, I think, to get the Congress to side with them.
He's not above putting like propaganda, because even with the like unionization stuff, I forget what they said on him now, but I do remember reading one of the. It was either what was it? It was like a video or it was like a poster or something. But I ended up reading like or listening to it or whatever.
Yeah,
it's just like, oh, that's wrong. That's wrong. Yeah, I don't know about it. It might be wrong, might be right, but it's hard to give people leeway when they're like actively lying about other things.
Yeah, and basically, SpaceX is very vertically integrated at this point. So like they have one site where they make the engines really close to where they have the rockets, and they're building the rockets. Then they bring the engines in, attach them to the rockets. It's very streamlined and efficient. And basically, in one of those infographics that they were using to try to convince Congress to go with Blue Origin, Blue Origin claimed, you should pick us because we have this national network of manufacturers that span 48 states. So clearly you should go with us. So they're bragging about being spread across 48 states, probably because from the government's perspective, that's job security for a bunch of people.
Right.
Like
look
I used to work in the
we're so cool.
I used to work in the military as a civilian, and yeah, I can totally buy that argument that like it's all about like getting headcount and filling hiring more people and filling roles, and then it's like super inefficient. IT is super inefficient, and like the software procurement process is really inefficient. So like, yeah, like they're using that to brag to Congress, whereas to like an everyday person that sounds like the exact thing that they shouldn't be doing. But yeah, as many times as I try to give Blue Origin and Jeff Bezos a pass on like their space stuff, they always like ruin it with propaganda and stuff like that and lawsuits.
Right. Well, the more, having just more people doesn't even mean anything anyway. Like, would it be nice to have people have more jobs? Yeah, but then it's like you don't want a bunch of redundant positions. Having more hands in the pot doesn't necessarily make to any sort of more quality.
So Richard Branson is a bad person, it seems, and so he doesn't get a pass from me. Jeff Bezos doesn't get a pass from me. Let's talk about Elon Musk, and I have to admit at this point that I'm biased because I'm totally bought into Elon Musk as a person and stuff. So I'm gonna try to be objective about this.
We're gonna have a random ramblings compilation of every time you send for Elon.
You could fill up a whole episode with that.
Yeah.
We could talk about Elon's controversies and pick them apart one by one.
Yeah, sure. We talked. I would say for anyone listening, we did talk a little bit about Elon in what would have been the first episode of this particular channel, where we did an interview with Neuralink.
Oh yeah.
So be sure to check that out if you haven't. Pretty great interview.
Yeah.
Ryan was a pretty cool guest.
Yeah, he was.
That plug aside, what do you have in mind to start with in terms of controversies? Because I know one of the main controversies was what, like, his parents ran like a mine or something with like diamonds.
Yeah. So basically, yeah, I'm gonna try to be objective here, but basically, his family's from South Africa, and his father apparently owned or was given an emerald mine.
Emeralds.
I wonder if I'm just going to pull up an article so that I
got to keep coming back and forth between a bunch of those. All right, fair enough.
Yeah. So the allegation is that that Elon Musk came from wealth because his dad owned an emerald mine, and I think his critics use that to trivialize Elon. I'm really trying to be objective here.
Because I've seen people criticize him before.
Yeah.
So what I generally get from it is that, because people a lot of times will be like, Elon's doing this, that, whatever, right? Like, he's very successful, and then that usually gets brought up in terms of trying to act as if he's not successful.
Yeah.
In the similar sense of, you get the Donald Trump, loan of $1 million type argument. So they usually bring it up in that type of sense, where it's like, oh well, he had help from his, he's not real like startup. He just takes other people's products, and with the money from his blood emeralds or blood diamonds or whatever.
Yeah.
Those are the arguments I hear anyway when it comes to that.
From what Elon says, and Elon is estranged from his dad. Like, he like no longer claims his dad.
I no longer claim you, father.
But yeah, according to Elon, he left South Africa and went to the United States with $2,000. So
yeah.
I don't buy the argument that like he came from privilege and wealth, and that's how he built his.
That's not like a nothing amount, but that's not like a crazy, like, oh my god, he's gonna have a silver spoon for the rest of his life type of amount.
Yeah.
So wait, how old was he when he did that?
I think college age. I think maybe as soon as he was old enough to leave, he left.
Okay, that makes sense.
I don't know the exact age, but I'm seeing another quote here which says 28,000, but it's Quora, so I'm not sure. But anyway, so there's that criticism that people use against him, that he came from wealth, had an emerald mine. People try to tie that to apartheid, but I don't know if that's like fact checked correctly.
Right.
So there's a possibility of that, but at the same time, my perspective is, you can't choose what you're born into. You can choose what you become, and the fact that he's estranged from his dad shows that he was not proud of that upbringing, so I don't see why that should be held against someone. Like, just thinking practically. Because, I came from, like, a super religious background with a lot of things that I don't agree with. And I went to college and left all that behind. So, like, I can definitely identify with that kind of thing.
I don't think it's fair to hold.
Where I'm raised in like an environment that I don't believe in.
Right. I don't think it's fair to hold what parents do to the children. I mean, it would be one thing if the parents had given him a bunch of money.
Yeah.
Like that'd be a different scenario. They'd be like, all right, that's at least something to keep in mind. Now, I still wouldn't use that. Like, even if that was the case, like say they gave him, I don't know, 100,000 or something, right? Just as a random example.
Yeah.
I still wouldn't be like, oh, well, see, he's not successful. See, because he got that, like, because like, who cares really?
Yeah.
Like, this sounds like petty arguing on the internet for nothing. It's like, well, let's see what, like, okay, yeah, maybe it's useful to know where he got the money from, but it's like, what is he doing with the money? Like, where did he get it? What is he doing with it? Those are the only two things that matter. Like,
yeah,
any of the other stuff is just a bunch of. I mean, because like, whatever you said, you like Elon Musk, right? That you are a fan of him, but you try to be objective with it. But then there's definitely other people like way on the other end of the spectrum. They're just like absolutely haters, and I hate doing that because it's like I'm not simping for the billionaire by saying like maybe you guys should actually have fair criticisms of someone.
Yeah. Yeah, personally, I'm just like I'm all about the merit of like what he's accomplished, Tesla and SpaceX and Starlink and all that stuff. So like I'm just thinking about it from an engineer perspective.
Yeah.
But then again, I am biased, so
I do think it's fair. One criticism I see of him pop up is that like a lot of stuff is put on him rather than the people that are behind these companies.
Yeah,
and I think that's fair. Obviously, like he has a lot of charisma, so there's something to be said about that in terms of getting these people together.
Yeah.
In terms of being basically a walking human advertisement, right?
Yep.
There's definitely value in that. But yeah, I mean, it is definitely important to be like, hey, these people are actually the ones that are, even though he's helping in some cases and not in others, like these are the people that are really like pushing forward this thing that you're praising.
Yeah, I can be more objective about that one because there are a lot more facts around that part, his engineering prowess. So, like, if you listen to any interview with him, especially the recent interviews, there were 2-hour-long interviews on the Everyday Astronaut channel, where he hosts a tour of the starbase, and then talks about a lot of the rocket science. Like he is very, very, very involved in the engineering side of things. So like he could talk for hours about every little piece on every rocket. He could talk about every component in his cars. So
he
like he is
super knowledgeable.
Yeah, like from an engineering perspective, like he's basically. I think the way to put it is like he, in an ideal world where someone else could be the big shot and make the decisions. He would love to just be an engineer that focuses on the engineering work. But I think he recognizes that if he weren't leading these companies, then, there wouldn't be any company that's as successful as as a electric car company. The other car manufacturers are lagging behind like crazy. So like if he weren't in those leadership positions, organizing those companies, then no one would be. So that's my perspective, and I think I'm pretty objective about that. And yes, he didn't technically found Tesla. There was another
on the side of the street.
Yeah, there. Yeah, there were two.
Sorry.
There were 2 other co-founders, and this is another criticism that he didn't found Tesla. There were 2 other co-founders that founded Tesla, and then he was in early talks with them, and then he became he ended up with a 90% stake in their company. And I think basically the business ideas that their idea was to create a luxury electric vehicle, and I think market research was where they were weak in that equation. And I do believe that like the rest of Tesla's master plan was something that originated with Elon. Basically, the idea to start with a luxury vehicle with a limited launch, and then create, which was the Roadster, and then create a cheaper vehicle that's still technically a luxury car, which is the Model Y, and then use the profits from that to create an even more affordable vehicle that would basically be mainstream, which is the Model 3. So like he had a very clear vision from the start, and basically like, you know, at this point you can afford a Model 3 pretty well. I just got mine this spring. So like he basically succeeded in that plan that he set up years ago. So like even if he didn't technically found Tesla, Tesla would have been nothing if it weren't for Elon, in my opinion. Now maybe I'm not being super objective here, but at least this one is a lot less ambiguous than the Emerald Mine allegations.
Yeah.
This is a lot more based in, you know, just raw data, like the number of cars he's sold.
Well, maybe let's to mention that when it comes to a lot of these rich folk, it is harder to get some of these like issues because a lot of them are behind the scenes.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So it's hard to tell. Like,
and it's easy for them to like hire someone to consult on like how to minimize bad PR and stuff like that.
Right, and not to mention too, there's obviously the case of like, you know, like company within a company within a company. Like, you know, a lot of stuff, at least in terms of the business side, can be like so far removed from the original, like what's causing the problem, that it's like it's hard to trace back to where it actually
that's true to. That's true.
So, I don't really have a point past that.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, so that's definitely something to keep in mind, the fact that like they have access to resources and consultants and stuff that make their job a lot easier.
Did you see recent news, by the way? Sorry to I was scrolling through Twitter, which is obviously what everyone should do when they're doing a podcast, but the Elon popped up on it, so which is why I was interrupting. But that SpaceX and the Canadian startup are going to launch a satellite.
So he just acquired a company called Swarm, which makes radio-based satellites for IoT. And so it would basically be like an interesting complement to Starlink. They could put the radio tech on the Starlink satellites. And this is just speculation. There's no public information that's concrete about this yet, but that's the speculation, that they could outfit the Starlink satellites that they're going to put up in the future with some radio technology that would interface with IoT.
Actually, I think this one might be a little bit different from that one then. Like, this is a brand new story.
Oh.
It seems like
Canada.
But that is interesting to know. Yeah, it seems like a different, like they're launching some sort of satellite, and you can buy advertising space like during it, because it's being live streamed as they're launching it, and you can buy like a little bit of advertising space on it.
CubeSats. Interesting.
That's breaking
okay,
news
so it says there's a tweet from the CEO of the company. Please note that Geometric will never have space advertising viewable from the Earth without aid of technology. It is not obtrusive space advertising that Geometric plans for. It is just to stream data from space to a display screen captured, which no one sees from the ground. From stream data from space of a display screen captured. I don't understand what that means.
From what, at least from when I was reading through the article, or skimming it, right? Because I can't like do this podcast and devote like serious time to reading this at the same time. But I guess I can multitask, but not that well. But what it seems like it was doing, at least from reading it, was that you could buy like pixel space on it. So like you would see it during the live stream potentially, but you wouldn't like see it from the ground, obviously.
Oh, you mean like there would be a camera pointed at it? in space.
Yeah, point. So this isn't about like a pixelated screen. You could buy pixels of it.
Oh,
And you could pay with crypto.
oh, you can buy it with Dogecoin.
Advertising keeps people have
Honestly,
to buy tokens to claim, locate, and design a pixel on the display screen.
honestly, I'm totally into that. I'm totally gonna buy a Pixel or whatever, because like I did the thing where Mr. Beast was like getting people to put like memes in on the moon. He did this live stream at one point, and I signed up for that. I think Sonic did as well. Um, and then like I did the thing to put my name on the Curiosity rover that went to the moon. It's like, I mean Mars. So like I'm super into that kind of stuff. So yeah, if it's that, then that's kind of cool.
Advertise in space.
Well, the thing is, like, the more commercial activity we have in the space, the easier it'll be to like bring the cost of entry to space down. So
right.
Oh, and that's actually let's actually go back. There's a few more Elon controversies that we can talk about, and then I'll just like talk about SpaceX.
And I'll just talk about SpaceX.
Oh, you know what? No, never mind. We'll have a dedicated SpaceX episode.
Yeah.
Or space exploration episode.
Just a space episode in general.
A space episode.
Or feeling on space.
Okay, so other controversies. He
didn't respond to me on Twitter. There's a controversy.
The one where, do you remember there were some kids trapped in a cave in the Philippines a few years ago, and there was a lot of work to get them out, and Elon was working on this submarine kind of thing, and then divers ended up getting the kids out, and there was a little bit of beef between Elon and one of the divers, and he called the diver a pedo guy because he was a white man living in Philippines.
Yeah, so it was, from what I recall, because it's been a while since I looked into it. The idea was it was during the phase when they were trying to like get them out. He had designed a particular submarine to go in there, and then people were criticizing him, and not just the guy that he ended up calling a pedo, but also like other people were criticizing him about the design. I don't know exactly why, but something about the design was not. I guess there was some issue with the way the cave was formed or something.
Yep.
But yeah, he did what you said, where he called him a pedophile.
Yeah,
and he ended up. What was it? There was a lawsuit over it, and he bet a signed dollar. Or was it? It was like, I bet a signed dollar you're a pedophile or some weird shit. Elon.
Well, it looks like he apologized during the trial.
Dollar.
But yeah, he was sued for defamation. Yeah, I don't think there's any good defense for what for that incident. So
I mean, yeah, it's a dick move.
Yeah,
especially because it's like, I guess someone's criticizing. I mean, granted, you shouldn't like call someone a pedo anyway, unless you know for a fact they are. But especially it's like, they're criticizing like a build that you made, but it's like, it's not like he's saying, "Oh, you're a dumbass piece of shit" or something. Like, he's like,
yeah.
At least as far as I remember, like, it was just like he was criticizing the build itself, and it comes across as really unprofessional and childish to not be able to handle that criticism. Like, even if you disagree with it, no need to insinuate something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's definitely like a not great thing that happened. That was back in 2018.
Yeah. During the trial, Musk. I'm just reading an NPR article on it. During the trial, Musk insisted that his remarks were off the cuff and that, quote, "no one interpreted it to mean pedophile." It's like, what? You called him pedo guy? Like, what other context could that possibly mean? Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
It's just signed dollar. It's true. Yeah, that's a follow up in his initial tweet. He wrote, signed dollar. It's true.
Yeah.
Musk later apologized and deleted the tweets.
I don't know if it's unfair to like mention that Elon has Asperger's and that may come into why he interacts in that way, but I don't know if that's making an excuse for it or not.
I don't know enough about it to be able to comment how that changed. Because obviously I know certain. What would you call that? Like mental condition?
Well, it's
Perhaps?
part
I
of
don't know.
now. It's
Or
officially classified as part of autism spectrum disorder.
Okay.
Um,
Uh, yeah, maybe I don't know.
I don't know.
But I mean, obviously doesn't excuse it, but I mean, I could, I guess, explain it.
Yeah.
Either way, he got cleared of it. I guess they didn't make it a convincing enough argument that he got defamed.
Or Elon just had
Which,
better lawyers.
well, I mean, yeah, I mean, it is hard to prove defamation though, because you have to point to specific damage that had been dealt. Like, it's not just enough to defame someone. Like, if I defamed you, but you didn't know, like, it did nothing to your career or anything.
Yeah.
Like, like, it's not gonna matter. Because the courts are in the business, or well, business is probably the wrong word to do it. Their goal is to like fix things, right? And if nothing actually is broken from that, like like there's no remedy. Like what thing's gonna be fixed by like punishing him for, I don't know.
Yeah. So what do you
Not
think
that I think
about
it's
him?
okay.
What do you think about him calling his son X-A12?
Oh yeah. So he gives his son some incredibly stupid name, which tells you how I feel about that. It's always like weird. It's not like even the billionaires only, but like it seems like wealthier people want to give their kids weird, unique names. And
I wonder if
like
it's correlation. Like I wonder if it's just that they have easier access
eccentric.
to like have give an unconventional name and like do all the paperwork. I wonder if that's the reason. Um, I wonder if like if you the only thing you changed about like the average person is they become wealthy, if they would like make quirky names like that. Because
No,
personally, I would
I feel like
definitely
that has
name
to
pets
do.
names like that.
I feel like it has to do more with like centrism. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it. Like being
Maybe.
centric.
I don't know if that's
Um,
correlated with wealth though. I don't. Maybe
no.
loosely
Well,
correlated.
that's what I mean. Like I'm not saying like there's a cause and effect type thing. I'm just saying like it seems more like in terms of like wanting to stand out.
Yeah.
Because that's what the name screams to me. Like it wants to stand out as opposed to like I have a really deep connection to this particular thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I feel like those type of names are stupid because it's. I try to imagine it from the perspective of the person that's.
That has the name.
Yeah, that has the name. It's like that just seems like you just get bullied.
Yep. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
my thought as
not.
well. Like I would not do that to a human because of the potential for bullying. I would probably name a pet something like that though. Like next pet I'm going to I'm going to name my pets after like famous computer scientists.
Well, pets are different because it's like it's not like a pet's gonna like
Get
say
bullied.
yeah, it's not like a dog's gonna get bullied by other dogs on the street. Like,
Yeah.
oh, your name is
Exactly.
Bigglesworth. Like,
Foo-foo.
yeah. Hey, Foo Foo. I turned around. Shut up, guys.
But yeah, okay. So I think that's pretty much all the controversies, the big ones.
Yeah, that's all the ones I know about anyway.
Well, I guess there's like other stuff that are technically controversies, like him tweeting about like taking Tesla private, and then the stock plummeted, and then he got fined by the SEC and stuff like that. That's maybe worth mentioning, but I feel like we can move on to other billionaires.
I wouldn't say the sense of like controversy in the sense of like when you and I say controversy, at least generally speaking, people would probably recognize that as some sort of like moral controversy as opposed to like a market change because I don't think the average person
Is
really
too
pays
upset
that
about
much.
it.
Yeah, like I don't think they have too much stock in it.
Yeah.
Um,
Nice pun.
yeah, right. I thought you'd like it. But all right, what else do we have on the billionaire list? I know we have the dude that runs Walmart. It's
Oh yeah, what's his name?
Walton,
Wally
something
Martin.
Walton, something Walton. I don't know his first name. Walton's.
Walton. Oh yeah. No, Sam. Sam
Sam
Walton.
Walton? Sounds all right.
Sam Walton, because of Sam's Club.
Oh yeah, right.
Yep.
Like
Yep. Founder of
so, he
Walmart and
owns.
Sam's Club.
Yeah.
I don't know
Not a
much about
fan.
him.
A fan of well, okay. I don't know much about him specifically as a like individual. In terms of Walmart practices, I remember in high school, or what was it, current world problems class I had. Like one of the sections was on Walmart and the way that they pretty much, basically what they were doing is like when they were building their stuff up, they would like bully manufacturers into, eventually when they got big enough, bully
Oh,
manufacturers into like, hey, either like you sell it to us at this really low rate, or
yeah.
we won't stock your stuff at all.
Oh, and they like
Like,
push out a lot of mom and pop
yeah,
shops.
yeah, that too, yeah.
I guess
So
they're
not
like old school Amazon.
yeah, pretty much they're the, well, it's the mafia, man. You gonna pay the protection money, or we're gonna break it? We're not allowed to break legs anymore.
Yeah. So
Break you
Walmart is the
financially.
second biggest employer in the United States. Number one is
Yeah.
the government. Number three is Amazon. Yeah, I don't know much about Sam Walton. He's got good. He's got good knockoff soda.
Hey, what soda?
I don't know, Sam's Club Coke or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Sam's Choice. Sam's Choice.
Sam's Club Coke. I would love if that was the actual name. Just like,
No, it's Sam's Choice.
um, I don't. To be honest, I don't think I've ever been in a Sam's Club. Or at
Oh
least
yeah.
if I have, I don't remember it. I've been in plenty of WalMarts before. Um,
Oh yeah. There's Sam's Cola.
wait, what?
I haven't seen that in forever. My grandparents used to have that. They were
Oh,
actually
is
not
he?
that bad.
Oh, I guess he is. Yeah, he's dead. What?
And Mr. Pibb is Mr. Pibb. Oh, Dr. Thunder. Dr. Thunder is Sam's or is like Walmart brand, I think.
Oh, okay. So this is okay. This is the other guy. Okay, so the original. I was trying to look up the. That makes a lot more sense. I was trying to look up him, right?
Yeah.
Sam Walton, and then like it's like he's dead. I was like, what? But it was the dad. So this other one's also named Sam Walton.
Ooh, Dr. Thunder. I miss Dr. Thunder.
More of a Dr Pepper guy. I do like Dr Thunder though. A bit. The peppered flavored drinks.
Yeah.
Sure, this is my bread and butter.
Let's see. Okay, so other billionaires?
I'm billionaires.
Okay, so let's go down to the top 10. Jeff Bezos is number 1. Elon Musk is number 2.
Yeah.
Number 3 is Bernard Arnault. Probably mispronouncing the last name.
And
I have no idea. We might as well skip that.
Well, he's from France, so I'm looking up a Forbes thing. This might be a little bit different from what you have. They list him as number 1. This is Bernard Arnault and family, which is weird. That says and family. I don't know.
Oh, can you link it to me, and then we'll just follow that together?
Sure will, Phil.
Sure will. Real-time billionaires.
I like how it shows Jeff Bezos pictures on there.
Like, oh wow!
I don't know. Maybe it's unfair for me to call him a super villain, but he always has that look on him. Yeah. Even when he touched down from like the sorry, my throat's all messed up. Even when he touched down from like the flying into space and came back and they did that like little quick interview with him. Like, even he laughed a couple times in there, and I'm like, wow, that just sounds like an evil villain laugh. Like, not.
Oh wow!
About it. Like,
okay, so he is the richest now. Oh wow! And this happened recently. Oh, he's the Louis Vuitton chairman.
Oh yeah, the stupid the bag, like the handbags.
He's got this one in the bag.
Jeez, all right. And play the outro music.
All right, so Bernard Arnault and family, and then Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk.
He owns Tiffany and Company too.
Oh wow! Oh wow!
That Bernard Arnault. Yeah, that's where the.
Wait, what's Tiffany and Company? Is that like Victoria's Secret?
No, it's like I think it's jewelry place.
Oh yeah,
jewelry place.
Tiffany,
I'm pretty sure
jewelry.
I believe so.
They're really close, the three of them, Bernard and Jeff Bezos and Elon. Elon's net worth went up a lot. I'm guessing it's because Tesla is doing really well right now. The Tesla stock.
Wow. Dude, I love that it says it went down 9 million, just a measly 9 million, or Elon Musk is like 3.2 billion up. It's like,
went down 9 million and it's 0%.
Yeah, it's like, if that doesn't tell you how rich these assholes are.
Oh, wow. And then Bill Gates is number 4.
Okay, yeah, we can talk a little bit about Bill Gates,
sure,
because that makes sense. I think the top 5 here, because if I were to look through these, I mean, there's like most of these people I don't know. I do know Warren Buffett, but not well. I think the top 5 are probably, or okay, ignore the first guy because I don't really know a whole lot about him. But I think the 2nd through 5th place.
So my opinion of Bill Gates was really high until the recent stuff came out about infidelity and Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah. Wow. What? Those are two bombshells there. Okay, so I heard about the second one before, and don't need to go too much into that whole saga of stuff, but yeah, his name's in that stuff, and they seem like they're, I don't know if they're like super duper close friends, but he definitely knew him.
Yeah.
So that definitely always gives me a side eye when it comes to stuff like that.
Yeah.
I assume
who knows?
the other thing, the infidelity, probably came out during the divorce thing. I think so. I didn't know he had infidelity. I knew that he was having a divorce from his wife
with one of his employees or something.
Well, see, it's kind of hard with that because it's like, I don't know the details of that. At least in terms of like with the employee. I mean, in terms of cheating on your wife, like that's not okay.
Yeah, it's a shame because like my opinion of him was like really high before all that, and then it plummeted.
Well, when it comes to like all the stuff he was doing in like Africa, in terms of like helping with drinking water and stuff like that, it seems like it was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's still really important. Like all the philanthropy work that he does. So, I think he kind of gets a pass. I don't know. From what I understand, the Jeffrey Epstein thing was he was trying to get Jeffrey Epstein to donate to philanthropy. So that's his official story. I don't know if that's true or not.
I mean, well, this thing, right? He's never gonna like, if it was not true, like he wouldn't come out and be like, yeah, you know, I offered for sex, like, you know.
Yeah,
he's never gonna come out and say like anything, right? So it's hard to know with those type of things. It's always gonna be like a question in the back of the mind.
Yeah, Jeffrey Epstein is a huge rabbit hole on his own. Like, there are conspiracy theories that he wasn't even actually like the one in charge. That he was a puppet for some organization, you know, all kinds of stuff that we could get into, which are conspiracy theories and not proven. So don't believe what I just said.
I could buy it, to be honest.
yeah.
It's usually not the top person that gets taken down when it comes to things. So just for that reason alone is why I could buy something like that.
Okay. Number 5 is go ahead.
Oh, one thing I would mention with the Bill Gates thing is also like another thing. He's the largest private farm landowner.
Oh yeah. I saw something about that.
So I don't know if that's like a good thing or a bad thing. It does make me a little uneasy, depending on like if it's like I'm buying a vault land so no one else can have it type thing. But I don't know what he does with it.
I suspect it's so that he can like do eco-friendly farming. That's my guess. Is that he can control like how the farming is done, make it sustainable, and I don't know. That's just a guess. Yeah, no. I used to really look up to Bill Gates. I wanted to be like Bill Gates.
Well, I mean, he has that really inspiring story, right? In terms of like, wasn't he one of the ones that was like working in his garage or whatever, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's everyone in Silicon Valley, including me in a few years.
Yeah, watch out for verticals. Yeah, but okay, yeah, let's move on to the last one then. Mark Zuckerberg.
Mark Zuckerberg.
Good old lizard skin Mark. Yeah, Facebook. I don't know. Facebook, when I first got into it, it's like, okay, yeah, that's cool because it's like an improvement on MySpace.
Yeah.
In pretty much every conceivable way. But man, Facebook is just not a great company in terms of like the privacy stuff. So,
and the fact that they manipulate people by like doing psychology experiments on people, like see if they can change people's mental health and stuff like that. That's just unethical.
Yeah, definitely not down with that either. So like when it comes to stuff like that, like I'm not down with that. And then I feel like there was something a while ago when he was standing in front of Congress saying something.
Honestly, I'm kind of on his side with like the Congress thing because Congress is just a bunch of idiots.
Yeah, Congress
When
is
it comes to
dumb. Or
technology
like,
and advertising and all that.
what was the? Oh, don't play the video. God, we have a cool website. We're just gonna play the video all the time. I was able to mute it before it even loaded. It's like, if you wonder why no one goes to your websites, by the way, ladies and gents, that's why. Website sucks.
If you really don't want people to go to your websites, put up one of those ad block things that says you have to turn off ad block to view the page.
Dude, okay, so let me complain about that for a second. I'm going to go into a very like quick rant. So like before, because I mentioned it earlier in the episode. So like before my internet got bought out by a different company, I was stuck with like some really terrible internet for like 10 years, like 10 gigs a month at okay speeds, like, and then like the rest of the month they wouldn't work except for after like midnight roughly until like 8 in the morning. That's why my schedule is terrible, but that's another thing for another day. But anyway, the point of that being that like because the internet was so slow, there'd be times where like I'm trying to load the website, and because it's not loading certain portions of it properly, like in terms of advertisements and videos and stuff, you would think that I was using adblock, and so it wouldn't let me view it, and then I have to try to reload several times to get it to work, and sometimes it would, sometimes it wouldn't. I remember EasyBib, one of those websites that I don't know if you've used it. It's one of those websites that does like the bibliography, works cited page for you. You just plug in the information, and it'll format it correctly.
Okay.
That website, if you're able to do like there's a couple different like clone websites like that too, but you'd be able to do like 1 or 2 or 3 of them, whatever, right? And then eventually it'd be like, hey, watch this one advertisement.
Yep.
And then you get 48 more hours free. It's always free, but like you have to watch an advertisement here and there.
Yep.
And so sometimes like it would block me off from doing that, and especially if I'm trying to rush and finish a paper. Like that's the last thing I need is like I'm trying to load a thing that takes like 10 minutes to load because your dumbass thinks I'm using ad block and I'm not.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was the rant. So going back to Zuckerberg.
Yeah, Zuckerberg. The only thing I like about Facebook is their VR and AR stuff. And only because they're the only major company doing it. I really wish other major companies were doing it.
Right. Because they own Oculus, right?
Yeah, it sucks that they're the only major player in VR. Sucks so much. But, whatever. I don't really personally care about privacy implications with Facebook. But, I'm not happy with it.
I just don't like when it'd be one thing if they were meant like it's like, hey, we're gonna use this stuff, but like there's certain things where it's like, okay, what was it? They were storing like information like not encrypted, and then it ended up getting broken into at one point. A bunch of accounts, like millions of accounts.
Yeah.
Getting hit, like stuff like that. It's just like
the
like you have
Cambridge
the money
Analytica.
To, like, I don't know, just annoying.
Yeah, Cambridge Analytica was the one where supposedly they had a lot of sway in the 2016 election because they were able to get a lot of information about millions of users and then use that to do very targeted political advertising.
Right.
Let's talk about one more billionaire, Warren Buffett.
All right. I only know a little bit about him, like a very little bit about him.
I think he's basically just like the most successful investor. So most billionaires at that level are founders of companies. He technically has a company called Berkshire Hathaway, but his primary thing is that he's an investor.
There's one, I'm trying to remember there's like something he runs specifically that I know, but
Dairy Queen and Geico, Duracell.
yeah, it's probably Dairy Queen. I mean, I know all those things, but like it's probably Dairy Queen's the one I'm probably thinking of.
But yeah, he first bought stock at age 11 and first filed taxes at age 13.
Wow, all right, Mr. Go-Getter over
He's one of those.
The kid that's like he's the. If you ever watch Ed and Eddie, he's Eddie.
Look at me, Mom! I'm balancing my checkbook.
And
Um,
shame because like he's so rich, but Dairy Queen is not that good of a place. It's not bad. Like it's not bad. It's just subpar.
Yeah.
There's definitely like there's one meal. There's like a chicken strip basket again because like bread that's like not the best, and it comes with like gravy sauce. So it's like it all tastes good, but like
he's definitely really old school. He doesn't invest in any like new technology that he doesn't understand fundamentally. Which I mean, he's really successful, so no criticism there, I guess. But he's not bought into crypto or anything like that. But which I don't blame him.
I'm gonna invest in the rotary phone.
But yeah, that's roughly the top 10. I think we skipped a few.
Well, I mean, yeah, we only talked about like fucking 6 people.
I ignored the ones that I didn't recognize.
All right, well, let's just list off the names anyway for the people at home.
Okay, you list off the names because I closed the tab.
I did too. Jeez, why?
All right, I'm opening it back up.
Actually, yeah, I can just go back to the DM. I say.
It's taking forever to load.
Okay, I got you, man. All right, here we go. Bernard Arnault and family. I don't know what the and family deal is, but whatever. I feel like that's a cheap way to get him first place.
It's like China including Taiwan and Hong Kong in their Olympics thing to claim number one.
Yeah, and then they still lose anyway. Jeff Bezos, number 2. Elon Musk, number 3. Bill Gates, number 4. Mark Zuckerberg, number 5. Larry Page, which I've vaguely heard that name before, but number 6.
Founder of Google.
Oh, that's probably why. Oh, wow, yeah, holy.
One of the founders of Google. Number 8 is another founder of Google.
Yeah, Sergey Brin, number 8. Larry Ellison, number 7. It says software.
Software.
And then, number 9, Warren Buffett. And then number 10, I don't even know how to pronounce that.
Francois Bettercourt Myers and family.
And family. Like
L'Oreal.
Family? Yeah, L'Oreal is pretty big. France. It's weird that they're both. So number 1 and number 10 are from France, and all the other ones are from the United States.
Yeah.
Oh, it actually goes into a bunch if you scroll past that thing.
Yep.
Bloomberg. Michael Bloomberg, number 20.
Huh.
What a not great guy that is.
Oh yeah, there's like there's three like relatives of Sam Walton, and they each own like 60 something billion.
18. Jim Walton,
60 billion each. Walton. That is insane.
That's like the when I die, I'm splitting up all my stuff. Here's your billions. Here's your billions.
Oh wow, Mackenzie Scott, number 22. She's Jeff Bezos' ex-wife.
Yeah.
She actually donated quite a bit of her money to some charity. I forget what it was.
Did she donate 51 billion? Because that's what it says she's down for.
Oh yeah, she did. 51 million. I think she donated quite a lot. Oh yeah, let's see. In 2020, she donated 5.8 billion, and then in 2021 another 2.7 billion.
Oh my god, there's actually a guy with the last name Dell.
Michael Dell, yeah, Dell Computers.
Yeah, I mean, I knew Dell Computers, but like I didn't know it was like actually like based on a guy's last name. I didn't. There's obviously a joke a lot of times there.
Michael Dell,
Fortnite,
Tim Apple.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Bill Microsoft.
Exactly. Rob Walmart.
Joe Biden, America.
Yeah. A lot of these names, I noticed one of the Koch brothers was pretty high up there. 27, Charles.
Is there anything else we wanted to talk about?
I think we're good.
Tax avoidance, wealth tax, maybe. I don't know. We could do like a taxes episode.
Yeah,
that'll get a lot of views.
Yeah, really, you want to hear some slightly informed people talk about taxes?
Yeah, let's. We'll keep that on the back burner for like. If
really slow
literally
news day.
run out, really slow news day. We'll have the AI do that episode for us.
Different. Side note, I forgot to put that one bot into the voice call to record it for us. We'll have to try that next time, like Greg thing.
Oh yeah, we'll do it sometime.
We're trying things here on the Random Ramblings cast to improve your listening experience, hopefully.
There are two Vladimirs that are 54 and 55, so they're both like. Yeah, they both have 20. Proven. Whoa, they both have 29.1 billion, and they're from different industries. Or are they? They're both really? Vladimir. Their last names both end in IN. They both have a net worth of 29.1 billion.
Hello, Vladimir. How are you doing? Oh, it's my friend Vladimir. I'm doing very well.
That is uncanny. I don't know. Maybe they are very related or something. I don't know.
Maybe they have an agreement. Like if either of us make more money than the other, it has to be in a 7-day period. If not,
they're the Vladimirs.
Split the money. Yeah. Vladimir.
Eric Schmidt, number 74. I think he's like employee number 3 at Google. Eric Schmidt. No, he was one of the previous CEOs. Yeah. Before Sundar.
Why can I not add a bot role to this bot? Whatever. That's a thing for me to figure out later. But if we run all these topics into the ground for the time being, then it might be good for us to sign off for the time.
Stay tuned for our exciting sequel to this where we talk about tax avoidance.
It's gonna be like 2 years later when we have nothing else to talk about, and then we're gonna play like part of this podcast in it. Be like, oh, maybe when we run out of ideas, and like it'll be like a flashback effect.
Yep. Yep. Nice. And by then, hopefully, we'll have like special effects budget.
Yeah. Hopefully, then we can afford more than one Canadian.
2 whole Canadians.
Yeah, 2 whole Canadians. I'll pay nice at the end of it.
Yes. All right. Well,
by his partner Sam, the other outsider.
Everyone, go hug a billionaire.
Yep, I'm sure they'll let you too.
Hug them.
They're very well known to be hugged.
Really hard.
Yep.
Cut off their circulation or whatever.
Yeah. Starting at the toes.
What?
Yep.
Okay.